Hello, everyone. It's Arkeem Ra, and this is Disclosure Now. And we have reached the $1,600 goal to get a MacBook Pro laptop to produce videos and music with, and eventually get the quantum quadraphonic sound healing off the ground. So it's a huge deal that you all showed such physical support. When I was at the Journey to Truth conference, it's kind of when this all came together and I realized that I had to do this is because I saw how seriously people are taking the content that I put out and how much of an impact it is making. Um, I did it because I knew I had to, but until I had that validation, it sort of felt like I was a voice in a choir of a million, and there's so many other people talking, and why should I talk? And the reason why I should talk, and the reason why I should do this, and the reason why I should put myself out there is because I have personal experiences with this stuff that are deep and they're traumatic to me too. And it's very important to me that people see they're real, as hard as it is for them to grasp. It's important for me for as many people to understand it's real as possible. And it's important for me because the whole entire system that they have here where they're taking advantage of us and keeping us in this sort of low vibration and making us have to do basically nothing but work, or at least a lot of people, it depends on us not knowing the truth. It depends on us not knowing about the energies that are out there, the resources that are out there. It depends on artificial scarcity. It depends on mind control, okay? Period. And whether people, and you might look at people who are totally going down the path of believing the mainstream narrative and all that stuff, and they're totally resistant to anything like this, and you might look at them and think things are a lot more hopeless than they are. Because I know that 3 years ago, I didn't want to look at this. And it's not because inside me, I believed it wasn't real. It's because deep down inside, I knew it was real. And I knew that if I were truly to accept that the fluoride in the water is poison, that the chemicals they're putting in our food are killing us, that they're deep down underground military bases and I haven't brought them, and those memories that I have and stuff like that are real, okay? That's facing these demons. That's facing these things that, frankly, are really hard to face. Whether or not you're in these programs or not, it's not easy to accept that the forces that are supposed to be protecting us are nefarious and that they're actively harming us, okay? It's hard to live in a world like that. It's better to think that, daddy government or whatever you want to call it, the state is just going to come in and take care of everybody. It's easier to think that way, but the reality is we know that's not true. That's not how it works, okay? And unfortunately, these three-letter agencies, these governmental agencies and military agencies that are supposed to protect us have done some very nefarious and questionable things. And it takes disclosure to undo the harm, okay? It's not to say that we can't move forward in a productive way and be a part of the galactic conversation. It's the fact that if we don't see the truth, we can't. If we don't see the truth, things are going to go down this dark path that they're trying to make things go on. And that dark path depends on people being in the dark. There's so many things that we've heard about for how long, how they're going to put RFD chips in our arms. I remember hearing about that 15 years ago, okay? And they've had the technology to do that for 15 years. And you see it here and there, but do you really think that it's going to become some mainstream thing anytime soon? Maybe it's looming off in the future, but people have resisted against that for 15 years. That idea of that being the mark of the beast and being this nefarious thing has been in the public consciousness for so long already that if they tried to do it, it would alert more people and cause more harm than it would strengthen their control system. People would immediately resist towards it. And you, the viewer, probably know that to be true. Just like the same thing we saw with recent events that occurred that don't need to be named. Humanity stood up and said no. We had problems, we had struggle, we had a back and forth, but you know what? Humanity stood up and said no to their bullshit. Period. They did. We did. So much of the game is already up. So much is already over. Now it just depends on us saying no. It's like we're consenting to this without even realizing it. We're children being led along at the hand with a blindfold on, not knowing where we're going. And it's like all you need to do is take the blindfold off, let go of their hand, see what's dragging you. It's a monster. See where it's dragging you. It's a bad place. And say, no, I don't want to go there. It's as simple as that. I mean, yes, it's much more complicated. Yes, the behind-the-scenes action is probably not going to happen overnight. We might not even see it within our lifetimes. But there are huge changes happening in the here and now that are important, and it depends on as many people like me to talk as possible. And I know that not every single person that talks about this stuff is completely we're not all trained to do this. We're not all public speakers. We're not all David Lettermans, the people hosting these talk shows, okay? We're people with a lot of trauma who might be really messed up. And I know that for whatever reason, people tell me that I speak clearly and I bring about the message in a good way, while still having the passion behind what I'm saying, because I've been victimized by these programs. I've been victimized by these lies that people refuse to believe, even when they're thrust in their face. They don't want to see the truth. And trust me, it really bothers me on a spiritual level. And I want to wake people up. And like I said before, there's more hope than you think. These people that are asleep, it's an uncomfortable awakening. It's a rude awakening. But if you get shook hard enough, you're going to wake up, period. You know, we already got shook pretty hard with the 2020 scenario. We're going to get shook even harder with a lot of other stuff. And frankly, some people are still going to roll over and sleep harder or put their heads in the sand even deeper. But so many people are waking up, and it doesn't take that many people to wake up to shine the light, okay? Because that's how darkness works. Darkness, all one light flickering, you can see that from a mile away, okay? That's how, it's a parable, but it's true. Light is powerful. It doesn't need an energy source. Darkness needs an energy source. It needs to constantly consume things. Light is its own energy source. It can just come from itself. It's abundant. It's self. It's basically the idea of free energy. That's what love is. That's what light energy is. It is free energy. It comes from nowhere. It's spontaneous, and it doesn't need to feed upon anything to grow. Hatred does. Darkness does. Evil does. It needs an energy source to keep eating. And frankly, normally, it's very hard for the dark ones to not get greedy and get so gluttonous that they burn out their energy source, okay? Too fast, right? Think about it. These people don't have very good self-control. That's the reason why you see their control system falling. It's because they're not more advanced than us. They are not better than us. Sure, they have psionic abilities. Sure, they have a higher IQ because they're ETs and stuff like that. But on a moral honor level, we've got beings that talk about honor, that talk about these codes of honor that aren't following their own honor, in my opinion. Maybe they're reptilians, but I'm going to be honest with you, the Draco are really important, like honor is really important to them, but especially the Shahami, especially the humanoid ET that people are calling the tall whites, okay? They don't have honor, all right? And honor is a powerful thing. If we are able to restore the concept of honor in humanity, and the fact that honor and the truth and integrity are really important things, which frankly isn't hard to do because they are, and it's a universal evident truth, right? And that's the reason why the Satanists have to hide themselves, is because if they showed what they actually were, people would be repulsed by it. People aren't repulsed by light or love naturally, but they're repulsed by hate and evil and these disgusting things they do naturally. We're repulsed by it. That's why they hide it. So that's why I'm talking. It's because if people see it, they're going to go, wait a minute. And not it depends on it being kept in the dark, 100%. So that's what this is, disclosure now. Disclosing the truth now, not waiting for the powers that be to do it, because they're not going to come in. And it's up to us to talk now, so when they do come in with their narrative, their manufactured narrative, the truth with sprinkles of lies to still conflate the issues, you got to say, hold on, wait a minute. So-and-so has been talking about the same thing that you just released, and they said this. We have to hold them accountable, okay? And it's not just the people like me who have had these experiences that are frankly more difficult to prove. It's the people out there who have physical evidence. It's the people out there who have expertise, who have proof, who are approaching it like scientists. I wish I could name names right now, but those people do exist, and you can find them. Even someone as mainstream as Mike Yukaku, I'm sorry if I just slaughtered his name, he's saying some pretty freaking wild stuff that almost confirms what we're saying. He's not saying there's life on Mars and things like that, but even this mainstream scientists like him are saying some very, very profound things that go against the mainstream mind control narrative they want to keep people in. So there's hope. I guess it's the main thing I want to say is you showed me that with the money you gave me. You showed me that at the conference. Every speaker, every person I met, you all gave me hope, and there is hope. And let's try to drag as many people with us on this journey to truth as we can. Let's try to wake up as many people as we can. Now I know that's Aaron and Tyler's channel name, but it's their channel name because it is the truth of this movement, of the disclosure movement, of the whistleblowers and everybody else. As we're on this journey to truth together. That's why it's the most badass name. Let's be frank. It's because we are, and it's not about listening to one person who is the guru, who like a Corey Good Jesus type character that tries to say they are the way. It's about the collaborative testimony. It's the fact that since even the 90s with people like David Jacobs, so-and-so over here in this part of the world is saying the same thing as so-and-so over here in this part of the world, and they've never communicated yet. They're talking about the same ET, the same instruments, the same kind of craft, etc., etc. If you look into this at all, that's when you see those things. The collaborative testimony, that's when it gets crazy. I shouldn't be eating nuts, but while I'm talking, but couldn't help it. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in. Disclosure is us. We are the disclosure. Disclosure now.